Welcome to Unit 1, Understanding Evidence-Based Practice. This is a 4-week unit, so I'll take you through the first month of your course. You'll see there's a brief overview here that you're encouraged to read that kind of tells you what we're going to talk about in this unit, course outcomes that are met by this unit, the unit concepts. We're a concept-based curriculum at the Annie Taylor Dee School of Nursing, so these are specific concepts that are addressed in this unit. Here's the unit outcomes that tie back to the course outcomes. And at the bottom there's a student preparation that you will do for each week. Now this first unit is a foundational level unit, largely geared towards making sure you're understanding all of the vocabulary, principles, concepts that we're going to use to really build your own evidence-based practice paper throughout the semester. So this first unit largely is tied to the textbook to make sure that we're all on the same page. Again, you're getting into a lot of application of these ideas in Units 2 and 3, so this makes sure everyone has a solid foundation underneath them first. So when you use the textbook, the current edition of the textbook is excellent. You can also use the most recent previous edition of the textbook as well. But you'll see that when you come down, first of all, this is an 18-question quiz, all multiple choice, matching, that type of thing, no essays. You don't have a time limit. You can take it 2 times. The highest score will automatically be recorded, and it's worth 5 points, but keep in mind that's 5% of your overall grade. So when you come down, you'll see the instructions, again the assignment concepts with the concept-based curriculum, the unit outcome is met here, the assignment description, and you'll see here where it says read chapter 1. Again, that is chapter 1 in your textbook that you've just done. These are very brief chapters, a lot of bullet points, not overly wordy, and so the chapter readings tend to go relatively quickly. You will also, for the purposes of this first week's assignment, be watching a few videos. This is a brief one on the foundations of evidence-based practice. It talks to you about the 3 components within that, oddly enough through the lens of zombies. The second video gets more into why evidence-based practice even matters and why we need to continually look for change. It's the 5 wet monkeys. You'll notice it's also brief as well. You're encouraged to go into the Spurious Correlations website, and I'll click on that here in just a moment and go and play around with spurious correlations. In this, you're learning what evidence-based practice is and how things do correlate, how to look at correct information and correct correlations to get good evidence to base your practice. But sometimes correlations don't go quite as they should. Sometimes the evidence is not sound. And so this website right here, Spurious Correlations, shows you how easy it can be to manipulate that data, which is why it's so important for people to take a course such as this one to learn how to find reputable data instead. And then there's a TED Talk down here. It's a bit longer, but very engaging. It shows how, at a professional level, the data can be manipulated to show skewed evidence makes it hard to gauge one's practice. So with the Spurious Correlations site, if you go in there, there's a lot of different linkings you can do. Let me get back to the main page really quickly. There's a lot of correlations that are already built in, such as math doctors awarded in uranium stores at U.S. nuclear power plants. Some of these you'll see really follow very closely, even though when you look at what the data is, there's obviously nothing that would link those together. These are all based on real data sets, but it shows how easy it is to, by showing things through a graph, make it appear that there's a linking or a relationship or correlation that's not there. You're encouraged to come down to discover a correlation and kind of play around with some different ones. They're pretty entertaining. You can look at things like, let's look at other causes of death as our variable. And pedestrians killed in collision 2, 3. No, let's go down. How about bicyclists killed in non-collision transport accidents? And we're going to correlate or look for a relationship with, let's look at physical copies of video games sold in the UK. There's a lot we can choose from, but that one looks just as good at the moment. And once you chart this, you'll see that there's these linkings that show that the data trends very closely together. So you're encouraged to go in and play around with those, see how easy it is to make it appear that there's a relationship between two things when there's not. Once you have reviewed all of this content, again, reading chapter 1, watching the zombie video, watching the 5 Wet Monkeys video, briefly looking at the spurious correlations, and then watching this TED Talk right here on bad science, then you will go in and you will take this quiz. Hybrid students, you do not need to do any of this right now. We will be doing part of this in course in our face-to-face class time, and what we're doing is a live discussion with each other. For those of you who are online, you will be completing this here by clicking on the Take This Quiz or Take the Quiz button. Please make sure you allow yourself plenty of time. And that's all that you need to do for week 1. So it's mostly based on those videos. When you go into week 2, it's a very similar setup. You'll notice that there's the assignment concepts, unit concepts, assignment descriptions. This one is skipping all the way forward to chapter 3. We're skipping over chapter 2 for the moment. And then the directions. This is also the same quiz format that you'll do in week 1. There are only 17 questions on this one, and similar to the other time, you have 2 chances, and your highest score is automatically recorded. When you go to week 3, again, a very similar foundational assessment to make sure that we're all on the same page. This one, however, has 20 questions. It does take a little bit more time, but the majority of the information for this one will be found directly from your textbook. Please review the unit outcomes, the assignment description. You'll be reading 2 different chapters in this one. Neither is particularly long, and they do fit well together, so please make sure you review chapters 4 and 5. This is a brief video that may be helpful to you. Watching this video is optional, but strongly encouraged. And then you'll come down again and take the quiz. There are 20 items, and again, the highest score will be recorded. So those first 3 weeks are done in a very similar fashion, each one with a quiz based on the content for that week. Week 4 is a little different. It looks at ethical treatment of subjects, and this one takes a bit longer, about 6 hours, without much way to really shortcut it. You're encouraged to watch a video. It's about 1 hour long, called Deadly Deception. It gets into the Tuskegee experiments and why it's so important to have ethical review boards in order to base our research, kind of where that's gone horribly wrong in the past. And then you'll be completing a city certificate. Now, when you come in here, there's an exact link, and it will take you to the actual city program. There's a lot of prompts that you'll fill in, and if you come here to the instructions page, back on your assignment, you'll come to a hyperlink that has step-by-step instructions. Now, there's one thing I want to make sure everyone's aware of. It tells you what to fill out where, what information to put in each box, and the overwhelming majority of this you will follow exactly as is. However, when you get down a ways, keep scrolling and scrolling, when you get down to step 7, this document that you're looking at right now is put out by Weber State as a whole. This certificate is done by bachelor's level students throughout campus, and so when it clicks right here, it says social behavioral research. That is not what's applicable and appropriate for us in the School of Nursing. You'll see one that says health professions and human physiology researchers, and right here it'll also tell you that if you are in the health sciences, the College of Health Professions, which that is what we are, that you will need to be taking this one. So when you get to step 7, make sure you click this top health professions and human physiology researchers and not the others. These will not count. So you're going to follow the steps little by little. There's multiple modules within the program. I do believe you can go in and out of the program multiple times at the end of each module, but at the end you will receive a certificate. So you will click on the certificate and save that as a PDF, and that is what you're submitting. It must be the Health Professions and Human Physiology Researchers option, and it must be submitted by the deadline. If you submit any of the other options, they will be worth 0 points, or if you miss the deadline as well. Again, that's 5% of your overall grade. Submitting that certificate is the last thing you need to do for Unit 1, and that will give you all of the foundational information you need to apply in the upcoming